Many archaeologists say early humans were creating tools as early as 2.6 million years ago, mostly by chipping away at rocks with other rocks. Since then, we've painted on cave walls, carved into stones, and built structures that have stood the test of time and continue to inspire awe and wonder in those who see them. It's in our DNA to create, and no two creators have the same process. As a person with more hobbies than I can juggle, I love to hear from other creatives about their process and where they get their ideas from. Honestly, I think other artists are one of the best ways to get inspired, and I'm really lucky to have so many in my life. My biggest piece of advice to anyone looking to create is to find other creators. Most cities have knitting groups or writing groups or painting groups, and if you can't find one that sparks your interest, you can always be the person to start it. Even online, you can find people who are like-minded and creative like you.
I start writing scenes that I am really excited to write. I don't go in chronological order, which some people do, but I don't know. I like jumping to the scenes that I'm really excited for first.
Welcome to Creative Chats, where I sit down with artists to discuss their craft, process, and sources of inspiration. I'm your host, Erica Brake, and this episode I'm being joined by a fellow writer who is currently in the process of querying her first book with plans for a multi-book series. Folks, please welcome my friend, Kaelyn Delorier. Thanks so much for joining me, Kaelyn. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing good, Erica. How are you?
I'm good. Really excited to talk about writing and your writing specifically. So let's just jump into it. What's your writing process like?
Well, that's quite the question, Erica. My writing process is kind of a little bit all over the place. Each kind of project I work on seems to take a different process, but what I usually do is I start with the ideas. So I come up with an idea, or I merge multiple ideas that I have. Once I have that idea, I start brainstorming. So this involves creating the characters, world building, stuff like that. And then once I have all that done, I make a kind of rough outline of how I want the story to go. And this can be anything from following like a 3-act structure to me outlining each paragraph or chapter if it is a longer work. And then after that, I just kind of jump into it and I start writing scenes that I am really excited to write. I don't go in chronological order, which some people do, but I don't know. I like jumping to the scenes that I'm really excited for first. And then, fill in the spaces. And then after that, I just start with the editing process.
Nice. So you mentioned ideas. I'm curious, where do you get your ideas from? Is it kind of like a mishmash of a bunch of things?
Well, Erica, ideas can really come from anywhere. I say, like, as a writer, you really need to just experience different things. One of the great ways to kind of come up with ideas is being in a public setting and just kind of hearing people around you talking. Another great way is from nature. Nature can really kind of help stimulate your creativity, and also different forms of media. So like if you watch a movie or read a book, you can get a lot of ideas from there.
Yeah, one of my favorite ideas, or one of my favorite places to get ideas from for writing is Pinterest, believe it or not. Pinterest. I know that's a surprise, but there's a lot of, I don't know, I think there's a lot of good ways to find different ideas everywhere. But I agree with you that, kind of getting out there and experiencing things is a really good way to get ideas and, know what you want to say about things.
And it also really helps you once you do start writing because you've got that experience. All you have to do is translate it into words.
Yeah. Well, that's a very, very astute observation, Kaelyn.
Thank you, Erica.
So what kind of like inspires you to keep writing?
So my main inspiration for writing really comes from just wanting to share the stories that I come up with in my head. And I really enjoy it. Like when I sit down to write, it's fun for me. It's like a hobby. It's not a task that I have to complete. It's something that I enjoy doing, so I choose to do it. And I love to share my stories with people when they want to read them. That's also really fun. And just kind of trying to, share ideas through stories, kind of send a message if I can, and entertain people.
Yeah, no, that's very awesome. Is that kind of what drew you to writing in the first place? Was kind of like that entertaining people aspect of it?
Yeah, that's one part of it. I vividly remember when I decided I wanted to start writing because I was talking to my sister and I was just kind of we were just talking about like reading and whatnot. And she told me that she was writing a short story. And I was like, oh, for school? I was about like 7 at the time, keep in mind. And she's like, no, just for fun. And something in my brain clicked and I went, you can write for fun. You can just choose to write a story.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super awesome. So then what would you say is like your biggest writing related goal?
Well, like most authors, it's probably getting a piece of my work published. But really just sharing my work is kind of my goal. I mean, I love my work. I love reading my work. So it's great just for, as a hobby, something to do. But to be able to share it with other people, I think would be really, really neat.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Are you working on anything right now?
So I'm currently working on polishing up one of my novels that I've completed to hopefully maybe try publishing it.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
So I'm kind of just going through the final phases of like just fixing little bits and pieces here and there. And it is a story from the perspective of a serial killer in the late 1800s. So it's a bit of a historical fiction, bit of a psychological thriller because she goes a little bit crazy. But yeah.
Nice. No, that sounds super cool. I will get to reading that at some point. I promise.
You better, Erica. I'm holding you accountable for that.
So that's all the questions I've got for you. That was a really great conversation. Thank you so much, Kaelyn.
Oh, thank you for having me, Erica.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah,
thanks.
I had fun. Love talking about my writing.
I love listening to you talk about your writing, Kaelyn. Never stop. What I think I like about writers is how they always seem to be thinking about either what they're currently working on or what they want to work on next. The world opens up so much when you're always looking for inspiration, and even the most mundane things can spark the biggest ideas. Writing is a super accessible way of being creative, and I hope this chat with Kaelyn inspires you to do something creative that you love. I've been your host, Erica Brake. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay creative.